All right, welcome to Whyspace.
Hey guys,
Happy day of recording, Becca.
happy day.
It's our
We are,
favorite day of the week.
it really is.
It's the only thing that's getting us through right now, I'll be
It's
honest.
tough when we put it at the beginning of the week since it's the thing we look forward to. So now we just have the rest of the week to
Yeah.
I don't know, figure out something
Yeah.
else.
Well, maybe we'll record maybe another episode.
Who knows, guys?
Who
Oh,
really knows? Well, today I'm coming to you with exciting news. We have like 487 audience questions. Maybe not that many, but feels
but it's
like it.
close.
So we're actually going to do the show out of our normal order as if we really have an organization system to the show. We don't if you were thinking we did. But we're going to start with the audience questions today because we wanted to make sure we get to all of them.
Yes. And they were good. They're always so good. There were a few this week that I was like, oh, that was a great question.
Well, and Becca texted me this morning. She also appreciates when she can tell that you've listened to the show because your question. And I just needed a note for the audio. Apparently, I may need to address this weekly. It feels as if there was like one time that I mentioned I didn't like the song Anti-Hero as much as everyone else. Like, I think I've mentioned it like in passing one time. And yet, every week I get multiple messages asking why I hate the song, which I don't bring up on the show as a question because I don't hate the song. I just need everyone to calm down. Okay. Can we all calm down?
I think it just goes to show that it's a great song, and we're all just flabbergasted that it's not one of your favorite. Now I get it because of the size difference in the videos.
Okay, I was just about to say, I think I'm just going to go on a limb here. I think that some of you who keep sending me hate messages about this not hear it in context. What I said was that the video trips me out because the size differential, she's small, she's big, it's too much. It has nothing to do with the words. But again, I will say, just if I'm being honest, that it is not my favorite part of the Eras tour because, again, when she plays into the whole quirky thing, it's just not my vibe. Okay.
Okay.
It's a great song. Please calm down, everyone. In the words of the show, let me see your hands. Like, everybody calm down. Okay. But we did have a lot of that, but we're skipping those. The first one I want to start with today is a special shout out to a listener named Jill, who is a friend of mine. And I'm always shocked when it's people that we're friends with that listen to the show. She's more than a friend. She's my doc. She was we don't live in Arkansas anymore, but she was my GYN. She did my hysterectomy, lots of things. We're very intimate. She knows more than most. But anyway, she has a great question. She said, why do you think Taylor had Travis as part of I Can Do It With a Broken Heart and not So High School since it has his dances? And do you think he will appear in more shows and different songs? And then she said, I can't get over it with a lot of exclamations. She also is a big Travis Taylor lover. So we can appreciate that.
Yes.
I'm going to let you go first with your thoughts on this. And then I have my thoughts, of course.
Okay. Which I like this question because at first, when it first happened, I was like, I wonder why he didn't just go on the So High School song. But I think it's probably because So High School is such a condensed version of that song that really there's not a key part he could play for his first time out. I think she probably wanted to like showcase him a little bit more. I do think he could probably sit with the dancers on the bleachers and do some of those moves and blend in that way. But it's such a quick jump from that song to the next one that my guess is she probably put him in I Can Do It With a Broken Heart because it showcases there's a little bit of acting there. But he kind of alluded on New Heights that he might come out again on stage, possibly in a different element. So if he does, they spent so much on his custom outfit for that I Can Do It With a Broken Heart that I'm like, would we do we put it in a museum? I feel like it could go in a museum.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't know that they worry about money the way we might.
I mean, that's fair. I'm just
saying.
Fiscal responsibility is always the forefront of my mind here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Becca's always going to think about the money. So I had a lot of thoughts about this. I'll be honest, though, when it happened, first of all, I think I was so stunned in the moment that it was happening that that I did not wonder why he was in another song. Like to me, I was just like, well, this is what I've been given. Which is such a gift that they bestowed upon me that I just who asked questions of nobody questions the question giver. But apparently y'all did. Again, so okay, I've had so many thoughts. So if you watch New Heights or listen to New Heights, he mentioned that he had actually brought it up to Taylor, or as Tay, as he says. Which by the way, I don't like that. But anyway, that's a whole nother story.
It sounds like her dad also calls her Tay, so maybe that's like a
yeah, but I think apparently everyone close to her does, and I don't know why, but it bothers me.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I guess he originally thought it would be funny if he came out in the 1989 segment because that he is like a huge fan, and like jokingly if he was riding the bike. Well, we're recording this now. She was just in the Netherlands over the weekend. He was there. There's video of him like attempting to ride a bicycle through the Netherlands. However, it had a flat tire, so it was very problematic. And I'm not really sure. To me, it was very staged, and I wonder, like,
it did seem
if something is amiss with that. He did not come on stage. I was convinced. I told you I was convinced that he was going to, because he did say on New Heights, he was very obvious that in his hinting that he'll be back on the stage. But this is it, except maybe if he somehow makes it to, where is that place that I said? Is it in Germany? I don't know. It's like Liechtenstein or something. I don't know. Somewhere, some G word. She's going to be at like a couple of days in between his golf tournament he's in and reporting to training camp. So I'm assuming he is going to be at that, though I feel like the emotional level and surprise songs in the Netherlands made it seem like it was his last show at the Eras Tour. So I don't know. Maybe he's going to be in a video is what I think, though, is what I'm trying to get to all of this.
Okay.
I think, to your point, that the So High School segment is too short. Also, it's too on the nose. And Taylor's not much on the nose. Like, it's just too, like, we all know the songs about him. Like, what's he going to do? Like, and honestly, like him sitting on the bleachers, like, I just think it would be dorky.
But I would still love it.
I mean, I'm in. I'm not judging that. But here's what I've said this before to you. I think that there's a So High School video that he's in. And so maybe she premieres the video at the Eras Tour, and that's like his way of being on the stage because he's not going to be able to be there. Maybe. Then I will also go to, it sounds like, based on all the rumors online and according to a lot of radio stations internationally, that I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is going to be the next single from the album. I don't really know how that all works. We've talked about before that she has said that a lot of times she doesn't get to pick, but I think she gets to pick more now. I don't understand how any of that works, but I do think maybe that was like foreshadowing to that. But I also thought it was a little bit poetic, more poetic that he was in that song than So High School, because it's like, if that is going to be the next single, clearly she doesn't have a broken heart right now. Right. A girl's heart is like exploding maybe at this point. So I'm wondering if it was like the foreshadowing of like, he is kind of what helped put her back together, and now it's going to be the new single. Mm-hmm. And maybe he's in the video for that. I don't know.
I just don't, at this point, with her actually putting him in the show that we also thought would never happen, I don't think anything's outside the realm of possibility.
No, I mean, legit anything. I will say it does. I mean, I guess he could make it to that one town that we can't pronounce. I mean, knowing him and them, that he could. But other than that, that's it. Like, because once training camp starts and the way her dates align, like he won't even be at closing night, which I don't think the NFL planned that very well at all.
They should have talked to them. But we will get that big chunk of time from, what is it, like August to September, where she's supposedly mostly going to be in KC. So I don't think we'll see him. That's not really that.
Not unless you live in Kansas City, which, I mean, I do live in Kansas City, so I'm not going to get arrested.
You might get some inside scoop. Shows up.
We'll try for sure. But I think I don't know. I mean, yeah, it does make sense he would have been in So High School. Again, I don't know. I still am floored and stunned that the whole thing happened. Just literally stunned. Yeah. Next question we've got is another Taylor question. I'm going to go with, this is from Savvy?
That's how I thought it was.
Savvy?
I love
Okay.
when you try and pronounce words. It's just one of the highlights I look forward to.
Jill was like named Jill, like Jill I can do. So I'm gonna go Savvy. Said, what is the Taylor song you listen to when you're sad, mad, and happy? Like, Savvy, my friend, that is in depth, but okay.
I like
and my answers change a lot. So this is like today's answers.
Yes. So
Go
my
ahead. What's
sad
your
one,
sad? Oh, which one are you doing first?
I'll do it in the order they put it. Sad, mad,
Okay.
happy.
Okay.
So my sad one is I hate it here. I've learned that a lot during the workday recently.
Got it. Yep.
My mad one, always and forever, will be vigilante shit.
Okay.
That one comes on and I feel like I just turned into a different person. I love it.
Yeah.
And then my happy has and will forever be Welcome to New York. That one just is such a good, bright, you can dance to it, everybody sings to it. So that's the one I always put on.
Those are good
But
ones.
I'm interested to hear what you have. I know you probably have multiples.
Well, I do, but it depends on the day and kind of what album I've listened to. And obviously lately I've really been into TTPD. But actually my answers are a little more diverse. What was the first one? Sad first. My sad one is Evermore. And it's the version of when she did it in the surprise songs and she does the Bon Iver part or Bon Iver, whatever. Whew, that gets me.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like the what cost will go to, just it gets me. And then what do I listen? The mad one is Mad Woman.
I didn't think of that one.
Yeah, but there are some lines in TTPD that when I'm mad, I say. I find myself saying I have never been to the Black Dog in any city. I know every city has tried to claim the Black Dog. I've never been to a Black Dog. We used to have a Black Dog. I have a Black Dog right now, but never been there. But when she says, I hope it's shitty in the Black Dog, I'm like, I say it all the time. I hope it's shitty in the Black Dog, wherever you are. And then, but Daddy, I love him. When she says, the Sarahs and Hannahs and their Sunday best clutching their pearls, I love that part. But then I also say, let me tell you just one thing about me and my name. It's mine alone to disgrace. I say that a lot. And if you're listening, you know exactly who I say that about. So I use that a lot, but I hope it's shitty and the Black Dog comes up a lot.
Okay. What's your happy one?
My happy win is you need to calm down, which I know some people would be like, oh, that's kind of a mad one. No.
That's a good one, though.
And the part of the Eras tour, the let me see your hands, I just freaking love that part.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's my those are mine. That's a great question. Again, you could ask me that next week, Savvy, and it may be completely different. This is from Lance, and every time we have male listeners, I'm always a little stunned as well, but welcome. Lance wants to know, he said, my GF wants me to get into Taylor. She says it's not all about exes. What else is it about? And I've seen this a lot where people are like, it's not just about ex-boyfriends, which is true. Yeah. So what is your help for Lance? What's your guidance you can give him?
So for this one, I do think that there is a lot about love and loss, but I don't necessarily think that it's always about like a relationship with a significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. I think a lot of it also has to do with friendships and changing of a life stage, moving to a new city, whatever the case may be, growing into some new, whatever the situation is. So I think while obviously the narrative around all of her songs in the media is, oh, it has to be about this ex-boyfriend and this ex-boyfriend. That's the narrative that's been put on it. I think for a lot of these songs, because we have not been specifically given the reason for every single one of her songs, then it's our job to get to decide kind of like, what do we think this pertains to, and kind of put our own narrative on it. And then it's just ours to interpret. So I don't necessarily, while I do think that it has a lot about relationships in there, I think that a lot of her songs are just a good listen for any point in your life. So
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, yes, I think relationships are kind of an overarching theme to a lot of her music. But one thing I would also like to remind you, Lance, it's not just about relationships with other people. A lot of her music is about relationship with yourself.
Yes.
And so I think that's a big thing to remember. Also, I think a lot of her music, and a lot of times is misconstrued to think it's about a relationship, is actually about mental health. And I think obviously
That's
that
true.
that's a super important topic. I mean, yeah, I think obviously there's a lot of songs that are about relationships, but we have said this too. A lot of our favorite songs, I mean, TTPD in general, is like about heartbreak. And neither one of us are in a heartbreak situation currently, and we still are obsessed with the music. So I think you have to kind of like take it and apply it to whatever you want it to be about.
Right.
And just as a note for you, Lance, my gut feeling is you must care about this girl because you're asking about this, which is a big step. So
Good.
you probably just need to get into Taylor also if she finds this important. That's all I'm saying.
Right. At least you don't have to love the songs and be obsessed, but listen to them and at least know some of the lyrics so you can join in, like on road trips.
Yeah, exactly. And we wish you all the best of luck. All right, this is from Spencer. He said, "My boyfriend and I want to attend the Eras Tour." Great choice. What do we need to know? How do we prepare? And how broke will we be after? Okay, as the resident that has been twice, these are very valid questions. And the last one is you will be very broke. Very.
My notes are literally just Mandy.
I will say it depends on how broke you're going to be. It's going to depend. If you're going to go international, you're probably not going to be broke. Honestly, if you can get you a decent plane ticket, you might as well go ahead and go. I've got my little ticket updating thing that happens all the time from Twitter when people are trying to sell tickets. I mean, the Milan tickets, we're talking $200 a ticket right now. So if you can get to Milan, get there. But you need to hurry because you got to be careful with the international thing. I've seen several people who have bought tickets and they did it after the required time change on the ticket. That'd be a downer. So just make sure you're like, first of all, use PayPal goods and services so you can get your money back if somebody tries to rip you off. And then also make sure you look at all the rules for the city you're going to because it's way different everywhere there. If you were going to plan to go to the United States, Miami, Indianapolis, New Orleans, you will be broke. You need to go ahead and start selling things. Organs, probably. Okay, what do you need to know for the international shows? For sure, figure out the guidelines and all that. Big problem I've seen people running into. If you're going anywhere, let me tell you something. It's going to be very loud. Very, very loud. I took earplugs the first time because when I went in Minneapolis, because I was super nervous. It was my first concert in like 10 years, and I just thought I was going to be overwhelmed. I ripped them out before she even got through the second note. But if you have sensitive ears or no noise overwhelms you, like we're talking about taking Judd to New Orleans, he's going to need massive headphones. That's to keep in mind. Be careful with your footwear. You're going to stand for 3.5 hours. I don't care if you're like my husband, who's like, I'm going to sit down. I don't stand for 3 hours. You're going to stand. Trust me. Everyone does. Your feet are going to hurt.
Yeah.
And get hydrated. I don't know what in God's name is happening in Europe, but every single show, it is like multiple times she's getting help for people.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's general admission in Europe and everyone can crowd the stage. Whereas like when I went and we were on the floor, we had seats. I don't know if they're getting too cramped. I don't know if they're getting stomped on, too crammed. I don't know what's happening, but y'all stay hydrated because I don't know. Something's amiss.
Yeah.
And then how to prepare. Obviously, you're going to need to plan your outfits. That's key. You're going to want to fit in. Get your friendship bracelets. Here's the thing. I don't know how to make them either. I went on Etsy, bought a bundle. I think I bought 12, and I came home with about 40 or 50 just standing there because people just start trading. So, but you need your starter set. It's a big thing. Outside of that, I think just get a lot of rest beforehand because you're going to be real tired, and do not plan anything for the day after. We had big plans for the day after in LA. No, let me tell you, it didn't happen. We didn't leave the bed. It's a lot, but it's worth every minute. And I hope y'all have the best time. And if you're in New Orleans, you should say hi to me if you somehow figure out who I am.
Those are good tips.
Hey, thanks. 2-time expert here. Okay, this is from Callie. Said, Mandy, you said you were surprised by Taylor saying her 2 favorite bridges in London. What are your favorite bridges of Taylor's? Which, hey, this means you were listening because I was very surprised that she said that. Becca, what are your favorite bridges?
Well, my newest favorite is Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. Just because when you see that in concert with the drum line, it's so good. That will get your attention every time.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. And then my other favorite is the Tolerated Bridge. I really like that one.
Oh, that's a good one. I hadn't thought about that one. Okay. Yeah.
I feel like I could have been listing songs, but I'm just sticking with 2.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, she is the queen of bridges. And so, like, they're all incredible. But I would definitely concur. You know how I feel right now about the Smallest Man Who Ever Lived bridge. It is the drum line, the theatrics, but honestly, just the words too. Like, dang,
Yeah.
Are you a sleeper cell spy? Like, who even thinks of that phrase? Not me.
Taylor.
I freaking love it. But I also, and I don't know that I would have loved it as much before the Eras Tour, but the bridge on Champagne Problems is a great one too.
That's another one I thought about.
It's such a big moment in the show too. But I don't think anything will trump, at least for a while, Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. But they're all amazing.
They're all good.
All right, we got a football question from Jackson. If you could bring any NFL player to the Chiefs, who would you pick and why? And I do appreciate he added money is not an issue. I guess he knew Becca would be here. So
he did. I'd have to get my Excel spreadsheet.
Who did you pick? This is a really good question because I was like, if I could have anything, I don't know what I'd do.
I know. It was kind of difficult too because I was like, well, I really like who's on the Chiefs team. So then I was like, if I pick somebody, does that mean somebody on the Chiefs team has to go? Or are we cutting them?
She overthought it, Jackson. She did.
Well, and then I kept thinking of, because all of my favorite players tend to be on the offensive side of the house instead of defense. So then I was like, I can't overload my offense. Anyway, too much thought into it. First one I picked, which Mandy's not going to like and think it's ridiculous, but Terrion Arnold, because I loved him at Alabama. He was one of my favorite players in a long time to play for them. His relationship with Miss Terry, he's just precious.
He's not with me.
I don't even know if he's going to be great in the NFL, but I want him on the Chiefs. But he's going to be playing for the Lions, so whatever. And then my other one was Devontae Smith, who currently plays for the Eagles. I love watching him play. I think he's so good. He's so skinny and can flip-flop around there. So I picked those 2. Again, I could have kept adding people, but I was like, at some point, I got to put a limit on this. So I just did 2.
Jackson, what you should have put in your question was, and Becca, you cannot choose anyone from Alabama. Okay?
Because don't put those limitations on me.
I don't think she was capable otherwise. So I did not put, like, I had an instant name in my head.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I like the whole thought of offense, defense didn't cross my mind because I think we talked about this last week. We apparently spent the kitty on the defense. Like,
true.
We don't have any money for the offense. I would have gone Justin Jefferson in a heartbeat.
Okay.
Like,
sure, why not?
I mean, just makes sense to me. I don't know, but sure, let's bring all of Alabama to Kansas City. Okay. This one is from Steph, and I do wonder, I should ask if this is my friend Stephanie because it's about the Lakers, but I think she would have told me. Anyway, she said, Mandy, how do you feel about the Lakers drafting a Bronny James? And then Becca, who is your team?
So the way that I read this question was, Mandy, how do you feel about this? And then Becca, do you even have an NBA team?
Well, I was just about to say, I am interested to hear this as well because Becca just really doesn't care about the NBA. But go ahead, lead us off with who your team is, though, Becca.
Well, so when I was a kid, I went through a weird spurt where I was obsessed with the Chicago Bulls. I don't even know why.
Everybody did when we were kids.
Apparently. My dad didn't watch the NBA. It wasn't like a big thing in our house. But I remember having like a t-shirt and a pen and a notebook and all the things. Obviously, that obsession has faded. I feel like I should pick the San Antonio Spurs since that's where I live, and I should support them.
And they're good. So, and y'all got Chris Paul today. They got Chris Paul today. So
we did. So that's what I'm going to go with, I guess.
Okay. That I don't know what I thought you were. For some reason in my mind, I was thinking you were going to say the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know why.
I'm a big Mark Cuban fan, so I did think about that, but I don't know. It's going to have to be a Texas team, but really, I could be swayed to cheer for anyone at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I appreciate the question. How do I feel about drafting? I don't know if you meant to put a Bronny James, but it made me giggle. I mean, I think it's like what was going to happen. Like to me, first of all, here's the thing. Bronny James, this is my opinion, is never going to play in the NBA. I don't see him getting out of the G League. I just don't. And I've seen all the people like, oh, it's nepotism. Well, I'm confused what world you live in that everything's not nepotism. Right? I mean, like, it's just, come on. That's just like a part of the world now. So yeah. Because I've seen all the statistics comparing him to other people, including his own teammates from USC who either didn't get drafted or only got like $5 to play. I don't know, something crazy. It's Bronny James, though. It's LeBron James' son. Like, I don't know what you thought was going to happen. I think that there was no universe in which Rob Pelinka was not going to go get Bronny because he was doing everything he could to keep LeBron. Yeah. And it worked because LeBron, flipped the free agency. He was willing to give up money to get some players in to help him. Of course, they couldn't even land anybody. So here we are with the same losing team and Bronny in the G League. As a Lakers fan, I'm just kind of bored. Like, it's going to be the same season. They asked LeBron yesterday at the Team USA workout, like, how close do y'all think you are to contention? And I'm like, that's crazy. You have LeBron James and you're like, how close are you even to contending? That should tell you something. And he was like, oh yeah, we're close. Well, that's because you're LeBron James. Like, outside of that, we ain't close. I don't know. So it's just, I don't really have any feelings about the Bronny situation. I do not think Bronny will play a day in the NBA. It's just never going to happen.
You don't think they'll pull him just one time so LeBron can say, I played a game with my son in the NBA?
Well, no, I was going to say, if we get to where he's like admitted, like this is it, they might pull him in for the end of that season to play some.
Didn't I see where they've given him like a guaranteed amount of money, Bronny? Like
they gave him an outrageous amount for a 55th pick. It's something like $9 million, which in the grand scheme of being Bronny James is probably nothing. But in the real world of like G League players, that's a crazy high amount. Again, all of that's to keep LeBron. And I don't think anybody knows that better than Bronny. I think Bronny's like, yeah, I'm going to play that I'm Bronny James. I would not even be shocked if he doesn't start going by like LeBron. Like, he definitely put on his jersey James Jr. So
yeah,
I don't know. It is what it is. The NBA is the lesser of the sports to me, and being a Lakers fan makes it even worse. So,
but I do agree. I think the whole nepotism argument, that's going to have to go away. Listen, if my dad was a big shot in something and I was,
you better believe
he better be getting me a job.
Well, and you know what's crazy, and I think a little bit unfortunate, the younger brother, Bryce James, is apparently like leaps and bounds better than Bronny. He's taller. He's still developing because he's still younger, but I mean, he's apparently like a freaking baller. I would hate to see his road to the NBA deterred at all based on this whole Bronny thing, because surely by the time Bryce is going to the NBA, LeBron will be retiring or retired. I would hope. Good Lord. But that's the kid I would watch more than Bronny. So anyway.
Gotcha.
Okay, this is from Anna. Y'all have mentioned your upbringing on the show. Thanks for listening. And I think it's potentially similar to mine. And then she put the quote, Sarah's and Hannah's clutching their pearls. Yes, Anna, that would be similar. You said, Style, what do you think about those who have issues with Taylor's music based on their religious beliefs? Great question.
Yeah. Which is something Mandy and I had talked about. I don't know if we've talked about it on an episode, but we've kind of mentioned it talking to each other. Everybody's going to have an opinion. I don't personally think that her music was mocking Christianity in any way. I think it shows how well-rounded she is, that she understands a lot of maybe some of that Christianity and the stories in the Bible and those kinds of things. But to me, it shows that she's questioning things in life. And I've always said, when somebody goes through a hard time and a breakup, potentially with someone after so many years, that's when you're questioning everything in life. But I do think that in our upbringing, there's a lot of things that we're just taught, you just don't question, you just go with it. So I think that a lot of what we're seeing on social media, where these Christians are coming out saying, don't listen to Taylor Swift, I think they're just going with what they've been taught, and what's ingrained in them is that we just listen to a clip of a song, not the entirety, so we don't get the context. And then we make a snap judgment on that, just to look like we're the good Christian here. And I think that's probably where a lot of these are stemming from. I don't think that they've given it the time to actually listen and put their own critical thinking skills into place to go through some of these. So it never stuck out. When I heard some of those lines in the song, I was like, man, she nailed that analogy. I never thought, man, she's really making fun of Christians. So.
Yeah. And I don't know if you meant this, Anna, but I've seen all the hoopla about people like saying the whole satanic thing about, especially the performance of Willow on the Eras tour, which I will say is one of my least favorite parts of the show. And not in an ounce do I think it has anything to do with like the whole satanic, with like, y'all are stupid. I just don't like that part. I'm not a big fan of Willow, the song. So and honestly, I just thought the balls or orbs or whatever they're supposed to be, I just thought they were weird. I'm the same way. I think I liken this a lot to kind of the purity culture movement of when we were in the upbringing of church and all of that, because it was like a lot of topics just instantly became faux pas just based on like, we knew that this was like the stance we were supposed to have. Right. I've heard actually, and it's kind of funny that I say this, but I've heard the Jonas Brothers talk a lot about this, about, cause they all wore like the purity rings and stuff. And, because their dad was in ministry and like all of that. And I just feel like a lot of people like hear the context of some of her songs. Some of them have curse words in them. Some of them talk about things that in the purity culture you don't believe you should do until you're married, things like that. And so I think instantly the Sarahs and Hannahs, if you will, they instantly just their spidey senses go off. And I don't even think they listen to the music. I don't think to me, it's so shallow and so narrow-minded that you're not even like, you don't even know what the song's about.
Right.
I do not think she mocks God at all in her music when she says things about like, I don't need your prayers in but Daddy, I love him. That's actually one of my favorite parts. Like, to me, it's like, I don't need you claiming you're going to pray for me when all you're going to do is judge me and talk about me. And honestly, I think the Sarahs and Hannahs, their problem with the songs is not they think that she's mocking God. It's that they feel guilty. That's what I think. And so I'm sorry you feel convicted, but it happens.
That's a you problem.
That's a you, not a Taylor or me. So whatever. Yep. I too did not need your prayers. So I just think, I don't. But I also think that you're never going to convince someone of that. Someone that is down that thought and that line of thinking of how everything should be said and done, and they've already got it in their heads. And also I think that it's so big in that culture to like hitch their ride to anything that's big. Like back when we were kids, it was boycotting Disney World, right? Yeah. I mean, I can remember being at that Southern Baptist convention when they boycotted Disney World, and we had my dad was on staff, and we had a family trip planned to Disney for that coming Thanksgiving. And I was like, what is happening here? We still went to Disney, people. Like, I was just saying, my dad didn't get fired. Like, but I just feel like that's what they do. They're all looking for like a soundbite.
Everything that a Christian gets upset about, we're basically only allowed to stay in our homes at this point. We have to boycott everything. So
yeah, which that's probably where your biggest problem is it in your home. So anyway, but yeah, great question. And I think, as usual with my spicy takes, I just think they're stupid.
But everyone's to their opinion.
Yeah, exactly. From Trevor, should the Chiefs stay in Missouri or move to Kansas? So if you're not familiar with this, Arrowhead Stadium and Kauffman Stadium, where the Kansas City Royals play, is in the Missouri side of Kansas City. It's owned by the city, but the owners of those teams pay rent, literally. And so the Hunt family owns the Kansas City Chiefs. They pay a very hefty rent, and they want to make some renovations to Arrowhead, which need to happen. And they are willing to put up a caboodle of money with it. Like, this is like saying, like, I'm renting this house I live in right now. This is like saying, I want to renovate this house and make it better. And I'm going to pay my money for your property that you own.
Yeah.
But I need you to put a little with it. Not even like a tenth of what I'm willing to pay. Well, the Kansas City, Missouri voters voted against this. It would be a tax. And so they voted against it, which I think that they were calling the Hunt family's bluff. I think they were like, they're never going to leave. Well, I don't know. And the state of Kansas is not stupid. And so they have already like passed legislation that they will move the bills along. Like, they've already set up the groundwork, like they ready.
Wow.
And it's really unfortunate. Like, I never knew, even coming to visit here, the difference between the two. Really, we do live on the Kansas side, because there really is a very big disparity between Kansas and Missouri. The Missouri school system needs thoughts and prayers for sure. And that area, like around Arrowhead and around Kauffman, like, there is nothing, and it is sketchy town. So, like, you're going to be taking potentially all those jobs, all that income, traffic, like, just doesn't make a lot of sense, in my opinion. So for me, this is a tough question, though, because we are traditional people.
Right.
I love Arrowhead. Like, it needs some work, but I love the iconicness of Arrowhead. So it is a tough question, but
do they have a spot picked in Kansas where they could build a new stadium?
So they don't, well, at least publicly, they don't for the Chiefs. What the Royals want to do is they want to be down by the river. They want to build this big complex on the river, and it's fancy. I have not heard the Chiefs say that they have like picked out places. There's obviously ample areas. Most all the Chiefs players live in the Kansas side anyway. So like for them, I don't think they care either. But to answer the question, I think they should stay in Missouri because I think they should stay in Arrowhead. But are they going to? I don't know.
It will be interesting to see. I mean, the Hunt family has put in bukus of money in their own suite in Arrowhead. So
their home, yes.
Yeah, it desperately needs to be updated. I just remember, I can't remember, it might have been Xavier Worthy. He's coming to Texas.
Texas, yeah.
State-of-the-art weight room and everything. And then you walk into the Chiefs weight room that looks like it stepped out of the 1990s. Like, it's not
and
updated.
It does. We just recently, gosh, what was that? Maybe 3 months ago, Judd and I went on one of those private tours in Arrowhead. And it's like we sat in Patrick and Travis's lockers. And I'm going to tell you that my high school basketball locker was equivalent. And I didn't go to like one of your fancy Dallas schools, like,
Yeah. I think my thought more, obviously you want it to stay where tradition is and stay put. I also was thinking all of those people that work at Arrowhead, the grounds crew, the people that work concessions, the security, all of that. Like, if you move it to the Kansas side, are they still able? Is that going to be too far for them to travel? Then have we potentially put all of these people out of work as well? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Hunt family does and what Missouri does. I just don't see Missouri after they realize that, now we have competition. I just don't see them wanting to lose that revenue that comes in for the games. And just being able to see the Kansas City Chiefs play here.
Yeah. which is always confusing for people. Nobody really knows that. Yeah. I don't know how it plays out. And I don't know the legalities now that they voted down that tax. I don't know, like, do they get another chance? Like, I don't know what happens. So best of luck to you, but I'll be wherever we're going. Let's see. This is from Drew. What would it take to, quote, fix the Cowboys besides Taylor dating Dak or something? God bless you, son. That would never happen.
I think Taylor can do a lot of things. I don't even know if she could fix the Cowboys.
No, because the Cowboys' problem is not money and revenue. Like, they got that. Like, that's not the issue.
I will forever believe that the Dallas Cowboys will not be successful until the Jones family is gone. And I believe it stems back to how they treated Jimmy Johnson when he was let go from them.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think the curse will always be on the Cowboys now until the Jones family's gone, which will be never. That family will never let go of their grip hold on the Cowboys.
Yeah, and I mean, from a financial, since you are the fiscally responsible one, it makes sense to get rid of them. I just think with Jerry, for sure with Jerry, I don't know with Steven and Charlotte and all of them, like what could transpire with them. I think they will have so much inner fighting between the children that who knows what'll happen to the team.
I've always wondered how. I'm sure that Jerry has some kind of succession plan because he's up there in age. Mm-hmm. Charlotte tends to stand more on like the PR side of the house. I don't really know what the other boys do. It's more on the business side, but I would be interested to know how they divvy that responsibility out. Because at the end of the day, those kids are looking at how many dollars are we getting and is it fair?
So, yeah. I mean, when you like watch them in the draft room, it seems like Steven Jones is kind of like more in the mix with Jerry, but then that also makes me think he's the same mindset as Jerry, which just means more of the same.
Charlotte has a son, Shy, and he is always in the draft room as well. And he does something within the organization. So I'm sure moving him up high is on her goal list.
Oh, I'm sure.
Understandably so.
Again, nepotism is a part of everything. Right. If we're talking about the actual team, what do they need? You know, I thought about this for a while the other day because everybody keeps saying, oh, what's going to happen with Dak? He wants more money. And we saw him this weekend. He walking around in a boot. Lord, that's not a great sign. I don't know if this will shock you. I actually don't think getting rid of Dak is the answer.
No.
Because I don't think Dak is a bad quarterback.
No.
I really don't. Now, I think there's chemistry issues. Obviously, CD Lamb and his mama, they're not fans. Maybe CD Lamb's the problem. I don't know. It seems like Dak is a good guy, though. Like, I don't know.
I think what it might boil down to is you have to let the coaches that you've hired coach. And I think that they are probably, at least from what it seems like looking at, I think there's probably a lot of restrictions that are placed on them that people up in the front office are making calls that you're not equipped to make. So I think if they let the coaches coach more and the Jones family stop putting their thumb on them so much, maybe we would potentially see a little bit more success for them. And it's not like they've been a horrible team. They have made it to the playoffs. Yeah. They just can't make it past the playoffs.
Well, and I think that has to do with the conference they're into. You know, I do not think I should say Mike McCarthy is the answer. I never thought he was. I thought that was a stupid hire. But I would also say, I know everybody thinks that Jerry's going to go after Belichick for next season, which I could totally see him doing. But man, that sounds like a civil war waiting to happen.
I think at the end of the day, there's probably a lot of coaches that have so much freedom to actually coach their team. And because the talk around the NFL is you don't really get that much say when you're working for Jerry Jones, unless you're desperate for a job, I just don't see a coach jumping ship to go over there.
No, I think that they need to go like a Pete Carroll route. Pete Carroll had all that success when he was at USC. He had a lot of success in Seattle, and then it kind of things went south in a weird, confusing way. But I do think that he could be a good fit in Dallas because he does seem like somebody that could probably at least grin and bear it with Jerry. The other one that we have been so confused that didn't get a job was Mike Vrabel. The fact that the Titans got rid of him was dumb. So I don't know. I just think maybe some coaching changes, but again, with Jerry in the seat, it's just going to be tough. So I don't know. Best of luck to the Cowboys fans. All right. This is from Ashlyn. This is a spicy one. Who is the most problematic couple in Hollywood?
I mean,
I can't wait to hear who you picked.
I just think you could list a ton of people.
Yep.
But I went, and this literally my opinion, I have nothing to back it up on.
Okay.
I went Ashton and Mila. Something just tells me there is a lot under the surface that has not come up yet. Okay. But I think eventually it will, as with most couples that have a problematic past. I don't know. Something tells me they do a lot of behind the scenes shady stuff. We saw some with Danny Masterson when he was on trial. So I picked them, but I also think anybody that Pete Davidson dates, that's always going to be not a great fit.
Madeline Klein or not?
I don't really know who he's with right now.
Listen, that's a weird Kardashian. Yeah,
she's problematic.
That's a weird dynamic that Pete Davidson. Of course, she went to Kim from Pete. So I have two answers. I have a low-hanging fruit and a high-hanging fruit.
Okay, go low-hanging first.
Low, I went Bieber and Haley Baldwin.
Okay.
Now, I know they're having a baby, and God bless that child, and Godspeed to them as parents.
Yes.
I think that whole relationship from day one was weird and orchestrated, and
I just think they've never been in the right environment. Like, they need a better group around them.
Listen, and did you see, this is way off subject, but did you see how he went to wherever it was this weekend and played that wedding?
Yeah.
That was.
Listen, they paid him $10 million to do it.
I mean, I'm going too, but I just thought the whole thing was weird. But, yeah, and again, this is not like I'm a Selena fan, so I don't like Haley. It's not that. I don't have a problem. Well, I do have some problems with Haley Bieber, but they really aren't related to Selena. They're more about what she did to Taylor. So, something's not right. And I think that she took on a heavy, heavy burden with him emotionally.
Yes.
And now it's all intertwined, and now she's going to have his kid. It's just going to be a lot. Not a fan. Okay, I don't know if this is spicy, but when I came up with it, I was like, I don't know if this is bad. Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell.
I almost put them.
Really? Okay. Well, I want to know why, because like for me, here's the thing. And I like both of them a lot in their respective fields. And honestly, like their vibe together, at least what they put on publicly, I kind of like. I just don't buy it though. No. I just don't buy the whole scenario. And I think that the over involvement of their kind of like communal living with like Monica Padman and all those like, it's like that group of people. And again, I like Monica too. I love Armchair Expert. I don't have 3 hours to commit to a podcast every week to listen to, but I don't buy it. I just don't think whatever's going on there is real.
No, I like her. He gives me shady vibes. I just think a lot of times he'll say things in the public to either garner support for himself or to just maybe get some clickbait attention. And I don't love when people do that. I don't think that that's you being genuine to who you are. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think there's some problematic there. I don't know.
Yeah. Not wishing them any ill will either, though. All right, the last audience question. This came in this morning, but I thought it was a good one. And because I thought this list was absurd, I wanted to talk about it. This is from Jeff. He said, thoughts on the, quote, top 10 running backs list allegedly by coaches and scouts. And he included an Instagram link, which I appreciated because I wouldn't have known. There's a list every 5 minutes. But this is from US, or I guess it's U Stadium. I don't know. I follow them too, but I don't really know what the name is. Anyway, It's U Stadium, whatever. ESPN talked with execs, scouts, and coaches to rank their top 10 at every position. And they started with running back, so I'm assuming we'll get other positions. Okay, here's their top 10 from best one first. Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, Jamar Gibbs, Derrick Henry, Travis Etienne Jr. Honorable mentions were Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker III, Isaiah Pacheco, James Cook, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, and DeAndre Swift. So what was your name? Jeff, let me go ahead and just tell you, Jeff, this is the stupidest list I have seen, and there are a lot of lists right now. I do not agree with anything other than Christian McCaffrey on this list.
Okay.
At least in the order. I mean, some of the players I agree with, but not where the fact that Breece Hall is number 2 on this list, you can't convince me that anyone with a brain picked him. I don't believe this for a second.
No, I have the same thoughts on this one. This kind of goes back every time I see these lists, and especially this one that says they talk to execs, scouts, and coaches. I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be a legit one. It's not. It still looks like the interns just threw darts at a wall.
Yeah, I just do not, because here's the thing. If you're a coach or a team executive, you're thinking about the people bringing in money to your team. Yes. Nick Chubb, bless his heart and his leg. Yeah, like that. This isn't it.
No.
And Saquon Barkley, we've seen, which I sent you that thing this week where the Eagles were talking about Saquon, or not the Eagles, the Giants were talking about Saquon and what they were going to do with him. That was not a good look.
No.
Yeah, so if you want to know my opinion, Jeff, I think this is garbage. I think the fact that Isaiah Pacheco is not in the top 10, even as I wasn't a Chiefs fan, is just stupid. Wait. Travis Etienne Jr. ahead of him? Come on now.
Right. When I saw that Pacheco was down on honorable mentions, I instantly knew this is not.
Well, and I would even argue DeAndre Swift. Like, oh, yeah. There's no way. And Jamar Gibbs, like, come on. I mean, Derrick Henry, I agree. And I do think he's slipping because of age, but I still think he's leaps and bounds of like 5 through 8 on the list. So I'll be interested. I am going to follow along and see if they put up the other positions, and maybe we'll talk about those. But Jeff, to answer your question, this is garbage. Don't be paying attention to that. That was all for our audience questions, and we do appreciate you all. Let's see. Let's go Olympics. There's been a little bit. Welcome to our Olympics topic. This is our second week talking about the Olympics. There's been a little bit of a hullabaloo on the Twitter or the X, whatever you may call it. Would you like to tell our friends and family about Mykayla Skinner?
Listen. So if you get on Twitter, honestly, but if you follow the women's gymnastics, Mykayla Skinner, who was on the 2020-2021 Tokyo Olympic team, as an alternate, she only got to vault because Simone was out.
Great.
That's not great.
Yeah.
But she apparently tries to stay relevant and put out a YouTube video where basically she just trashed the women's Olympic team. And said they had no work ethic, that they weren't good, they were soft, that the coaches can't coach them anymore. Just said some horrible things. I don't really know what she thought the response was going to be. Honestly, I don't know that she thought of that far in advance.
No.
I've ever seen her. She very much gives the vibe of trying to always make herself the main character, even when she's not relevant in the story. But Mykayla Skinner does have a little bit of a sketchy past. She's good. She has competed at Worlds. Yeah. She has competed in Olympic trials. She has made it as an alternate. So she's gotten further than the majority of us.
Yeah. I mean, I can't do a cartwheel, but still, I can still judge her, though. I mean,
if you put me on floor routine and I just start running, I'm going to bust an ankle by the third step. Like, it's just.
Yeah. But I would pay to see it. I would.
Same.
Oh, man.
There's some issues there. She came out once all the backlash originally hit and put up a story on her Instagram, I believe, where she was like, you guys are taking this out of context. That's not what I meant. I fully support it. But let me read what she says was taken out of context. She specifically said, besides Simone, I feel like the talent and the depth just isn't what it used to be. I mean, obviously, a lot of the girls don't work as hard. The girls just don't have the work ethic.
It's hard to misconstrue what you said.
Right.
I mean,
how is that taken out of context? So
yeah.
again, she gets blasted
Rightfully,
and takes that down. She has since put up a longer apology that was typed out that all of the comments have been turned off on. Clearly, she has gotten some PR team behind her. I still think that the apology, too little, too late. Everybody saw your true colors. You showed us who you were, and we believe you. A lot of the negativity also was that the majority of the U.S. team is women of color. In 2016, when Mykayla did not make the Olympic team, she had retweeted a photo where somebody had taken Gabby Douglas's picture and put Mykayla over it. And then in the caption, there was a blonde girl and a monkey. And so obviously there's some racial undertones there. Not even undertones. There's some
red flags.
Yeah. So, and that's happened a couple of times. So we've kind of seen it. But yeah, not a great look for her. And it looks like, I didn't go through and check everybody, but it looks like the majority of the well-known gymnasts do not follow her anymore. And she has since taken down like the YouTube video and all of that. But again, too little, too late. You should have never put it up in the first place.
Well, and it's important to remember too that Mykayla's not an active gymnast. I mean, she might be at her local club or something, but it's not like she was competing for this and got beat out and so she's mad. No. That's not really the situation. Like nobody was asking for your opinion. You're not like Sean Johnson that's going to help commentate or something like that. Like nobody's looking to you, the alternate that didn't make it anyway. Yeah, I thought she's just dumb. And yeah, it's every Olympics, she does something asinine. So I'm sure some of them that are more accustomed to that kind of just rolled their eyes. I mean, what she's trying to save face and say is a conversation that has been happening for quite a while. And again, I'm really great at pronouncing things, but Marta and her husband, Caroli?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Back when they ran the U.S. gymnast program, first of all, we were balling. Like, I mean, no one could beat us. Now, these girls have some serious mental issues from that time period, though. Like, these people were Russian, right?
Yeah. Hungary? I believe they're from Hungary.
Something over there where they do not treat people nicely. Yeah. And so, sure, when Mykayla was training, I'm sure she was eating for lunch because, first of all, she's not that great. But they all were. And it is a completely different regime now because they are out and there's been a lot that's been said about how that was so harmful and all of that. There's a similar situation happening in the women's soccer league in the U.S. There is a woman named Jill Ellis who has been running the San Diego Wave, which my girl Alex Morgan plays for. And she apparently has got a lot of rumors about her reputation of being kind of a unkind, bad word to people. And so some of the people that worked for her and some of the players are now coming out against her in that kind of behavior, very similar to Marta's treatment of people. But the people in the soccer world that are coming out against Jill Ellis are coming out against Jill Ellis. They're not coming out against the Alex Morgans and the Cindy LaRue's and all of that. So if Mykayla's issue was Marta in the way that Marta and her husband treated all the gymnasts, warranted, everyone would agree. It's well documented. But you didn't. Right. You came after these girls, first of all, that were too young to have even, played, I don't know, performed, done whatever you do for a gymnast coach. Like, they weren't even old enough to be under their hand. So that's just stupid. And I think in her comment of saying that was taken out of context, I mean, first of all, you literally spelled it out, but also because you differentiated between Simone and the rest of the team. Like, that's very blatant. That's not a blanket statement that could be misconstrued. You were very meticulous to say Simone is this, they are this.
Right. And under Marta and Bella Caroli, the athletes were often injured because they weren't nourished properly. They were overworked. Their bodies could not keep up. And these were kids, teenagers at the time. And so we saw a lot of Carrie Strug. You saw that example in the 96 Olympics. That was under the Caroli regime. And so I think now we have what's called the Safe Sport Act, where you can report abuse and things like that. And so for Mykayla to specifically call out safe sport and say that's the reason that coaches can't coach aggressively, I believe is the term that she used, you're blatantly saying that these girls need to be treated harsher. And that's exactly the mentality that we're trying to move away from so that they're safe. Listen, if you can't watch Jordan Childs perform and realize that girl is having the time of her life.
Yeah.
And she's incredible. You don't get to say anything about sports because that's exactly what we want our women's sports to be like. They're phenomenal, but they're also mentally in a good place and they're enjoying what they do.
Yeah. I liked what Simone said. I think she tweeted it maybe, or she just said, not everyone deserves a mic or a platform. And that's a very concise way of saying exactly what totally agree. Yeah. For our other categories for sports and entertainment. Oh, wait. Well, actually, this kind of applies. So I'm going to take our topics and make them our questions of the day because we've got a lot of them. One of which is an Olympic topic. There was a graphic this week from Sports Center that said, which of these two teams are you taking? Which I know you're such a big NBA fan, you're totally going to understand. But there's the 1992, the Dream Team back in the day, right? Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, John Stockton, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, all those guys versus what we have now. So we've got like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, those guys.
Yeah.
Which team would you pick is what Sports Center was asking. So being the NBA expert you are.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Which of the two teams would you pick to win?
I'm definitely going the 1992 team.
Is that because you're most familiar with them?
Well, yes, that's probably the number one reason.
Okay. And we are talking about in their prime, not as if they were playing good. That would just be dumb.
No, if they tried to come out now, unfortunately, I would have to go with the current U.S. team.
Yeah.
But I think in their prime, that was a group of guys that I remember when I would see some of their games or if we go back and watch some of their highlights, they just played basketball and they worked so hard. Not to say that men's team now doesn't work hard. I don't like whiners on the court. That will always turn me off. Yep. And I just feel like these guys just flop down on the ground constantly when they don't get their way. So
I did see a graphic. I saw a graphic this weekend and I can't remember the entire thing, but one was like a NASCAR driver standing like kind of bent over next to his wrecked car. And it says like, this is what a NASCAR driver looks like after having an accident at 250 miles an hour. And then it showed, it may have been LeBron laying on the ground. It was like, and this is what an NBA athlete looks like when he stubs a toe or something. And I was like,
accurate.
Pretty much. Okay. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I am still of the camp that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Like,
yeah,
take your issues with that and say it's LeBron. That's fine. Whatever. We all have our own opinions. I don't agree. He is not my favorite basketball player of all time. Kobe Bryant is. But I still would say that team, Magic Johnson, like guys like that, I think guys that played with Michael Jordan got downplayed for how phenomenal they were because he was Michael Jordan.
Right.
Whereas now these guys don't really get downplayed in comparison to LeBron. I mean, you still know that Steph Curry can make a three-pointer with like a blindfold on and like 12 streets away. Like, I just think that there was so much talent there that was overshadowed by the fact that Michael Jordan was on that team, but they still would have been who they were without him. So, all right. So some questions for you. Okay. Who is your biggest NFL bust of this list? Johnny Manziel, Andrew Luck, Matt Leinart, Marcus Mariota. Man, I misspelled things everywhere. Jameis Winston, or do you have someone else?
Okay. So for this, I went Johnny Manziel on this one just because being in Texas, I watched his career a lot more. And he had so much potential that I think he just instantly went off and had not good barriers around himself. I didn't really follow Andrew Luck a ton or Matt Leinart. So I couldn't really say. Marcus Mariota still is currently in the NFL. I don't know that I would have ever said he was really good. So he's kind of fallen from there. I think he's probably been subpar all the way through. Right. And Jameis Winston, I don't really follow him at all, but I would definitely go with Johnny on this one.
Yeah, I was torn between Johnny and Andrew Luck. and really based like Johnny, I think, was a bust behaviorally.
Yes.
And Andrew Luck was such a perplexing situation. I mean, yeah, he had some injuries, but like talent wise, they claimed he was like the next coming of Peyton Manning. And then just all of a sudden, randomly one day, he's like, I'm out. I don't know. It was just a weird, like, I don't know what happened. Matt Leinart will always hold a special place in my heart because I've always thought he is so handsome. James Winston, I think, is a freaking joke. Marcus Mariota, I understand he won the Heisman. It's one of Aaron's favorite players in college. But I don't think he would have had that if he hadn't been at Oregon in the time when everybody wanted to go to Oregon. And so, yeah.
That's accurate.
All right. WNBA Rookie of the Year race. So this weekend, Angel tied, and then I think the next day beat Candace Parker's double-double record. And then our girl, Caitlin Clark, became the first rookie to get a triple-double. If you had to pick between the two, who would you pick as the Rookie of the Year?
Between Caitlin Clark and Angel?
Yeah. Well, did you have someone else in mind?
No, I just saw Candace Parker, so I didn't know if we were going back to when she was.
Of course, she's the greatest of all time in women's. But go ahead.
So I'm going Caitlin, and that's just literally personal opinion. Angel has done so well for herself in her rookie season. I will not take that away. But I also count in your personal side and how you conduct yourself. So
I don't know if they consider that. Well, and this goes to, I don't know. First of all, I don't know when they award this because I was going to say it depends on how either team plays out the season, especially the Fever, because the Fever were really not doing well. Now they're kind of on an upswing, but I don't know when they pick. And then, I don't know if like the personal side of stuff plays into this. And because also, I mean, we have the Angel stuff, but then also when you look at what has been done for the WNBA, I don't know how you don't pick Caitlin.
Right.
But is that not considered? I don't know.
Right. Is it purely stats? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing.
Do you have a top 5 female athletes list?
So I do now. I made one.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I did not put them in any particular order. I just put them in I enjoy watching these women, and I think that they're great. Okay. So I put Simone Biles, Sha'Carri Richardson, which I didn't think she'd make my list, but I have loved her. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it Asia Wilson? Is that how you say her name? Okay. Asia Wilson. I absolutely enjoy watching her the most of anyone in the WNBA. She's my favorite.
She's a blast. Yeah.
Alex Morgan. And then I think you can't leave out Caitlin Clark for what she's done for an entire sport. So.
Okay. Those are good ones.
Yeah.
I like that.
Who do you have?
Okay. I have Alex Morgan. I know we are all really shocked. Candace Parker, because she is my favorite female basketball player. Yes. Abby Wambach. We know that I love Abby as well. And then I also have, I don't know what that says in my notes at all. I have, I don't know if it is Asia or Aja Wilson. I have her too. And then in my last place, I have a golfer. I have Nelly Korda, the golfer. She is the sister of Jessica Korda, but she's way better than Jessica ever was. Yeah.
There you go. Good list.
I had a lot of honorable mentions, though. I was torn between adding like Serena Williams, Coco Gauff, Kelsey Plum.
Yeah.
Just lots of people.
There's so many good female sports athletes.
Hashtag everyone should watch women's sports. Yeah. All right. So that was that category. Okay. Skipping around. So I'm really going to trip back up on her notes here. We just had the 4th of July here in the U.S. We know that we have listeners in other countries now. So welcome to the show. But Michael Rubin, who owns Fanatics, and I think he like owns some stakes in some teams and some other things. He has an annual party called the White Party, which did he inherit this party from P. Diddy?
Okay, that was one of the questions I was going to ask.
I don't know either.
It sounds like I tried to Google research. So if anybody knows, please share.
Yes.
From what I could find, it looks like Diddy did start a white party, but like 20 years ago. And his is more over like Labor Day. And it's been passed off in the years to like Beverly Hills has a white party and all of this. So I'm not sure if he originated the white party in the Hamptons and now Ruben has it. I'm not totally sure how that plays out.
I never even knew until I was watching that Bethany Frankel video this morning that maybe that was a thing. But if you're not from the US or you're not familiar, this is not like a racist thing that it's called the white party. It's literally everyone wears white.
Yeah.
And Michael Rubin owns it or has this party in his home in the Hamptons. It's a big, big to do. Yeah. So the question is, would you rather attend Michael Rubin's 4th of July white party or Jay-Z and Beyonce's Grammys after party?
So with this, the white party gives me sketchy P. Diddy vibes, and I told you that. And it's also moving towards a lot of influencers are there. I went with the Beyonce Grammys after party specifically because I thought possibly I would not be photographed there and no one would know.
Valid.
And because I could easily sneak out because there would be so many people there.
Okay.
I don't want to be it either.
Very on the nose answer there. Yeah. I also went the after party. It's true that no pictures hardly ever. There were a couple this year that trickled out, but nothing like significant and no one significant.
Right.
I picked that
event.
It's kind of like what's happened with the Met Gala. It is very like influencer heavy now and very Kardashian heavy. And it's just, that's not my vibe. Yeah, I kind of like get icky vibes now of anyone that goes to it. So
yeah.
All right. Which actor could or should have a resurgence? And both are in movies coming out. Chase Crawford from like Gossip Girl fame or Josh Hartnett?
I went Josh Hartnett on this one because I had a huge crush on him when he did Pearl Harbor.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay.
And honestly, he still looks pretty much the same. So,
well,
a few extra wrinkles, but
yeah, I don't know. He really hasn't aged much, and Chase is definitely looking older. So they're both coming out in movies. Chase's looks like a dumb humor kind of movie, so I'm sure I won't catch that. I went with Josh Hartnett because I feel like he was like actually a decent actor, and it was like weird that he left Hollywood in general.
Yeah.
While I love Chase's character, Nate Archibald on Gossip Girl, like outside of that, like he's kind of codlocked into that role for me.
Right.
And so I went with Josh Hartnett as well.
Okay.
What caliber of an actor do you think Miles Teller is? Is he like a Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, or someone else?
Okay, so this one was hard for me to gauge.
Okay.
I literally have never watched anything Miles Teller has been in.
You didn't see Top Gun?
Did not.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know who I would match him up to.
What is happening? The things that you haven't seen always amaze me. Like,
it amazes my husband too.
I think you spend a little too much time on Hallmark. I think that's what's happening here.
Listen, I can only take in so much content. And if it's football season, that pretty much takes everything up. And then if it's not, it's usually Hallmark or whatever's on social media. I just can't.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to give you a homework assignment then.
Okay.
I'm going to need you to watch Top Gun. And I'm going to need you to give us a report out on what you think of his acting.
Okay.
I'm going to hold this question then. I'm not going to answer it. We're going to come back to this. Okay. I do know that you are familiar with this person, so I'm going to continue.
Yes.
Is Margot Robbie the next Julia Roberts? Why or why not?
So that's a good comparison, I think. My only thing is I could see her moving into that spot. But I feel like Julia Roberts gives more of that rom-com, or that felt like a good lane for her to be in. I haven't seen Margot in enough to know if that's, but I do potentially think I could see her moving into that role and kind of taking that spot.
You know how there are some actors and actresses that have so much chemistry together that they could be in 100 movies and play like the same role, and I'm going to love it and everything. Yep. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, for instance. They have such great chemistry. Every movie they're in together, I love it, and it's literally like the same role. I feel that way about Julia Roberts with that, not just one person, but how she would like anything with like George Clooney and Brad Pitt, like all that like group of people. And I say all that to say I can see that with Margot. I can see that just like, her movie with Ryan, with Barbie, and just like I could see her acclimating well with these other characters the way that I feel like Julia did. Do I think that she will like be like, if you think about Julia Roberts, like she was kind of like at her fever pitch when we were younger, but yet she's still like one of the most famous actresses. But yet, like, what's she been in lately?
Right.
Yeah. I don't know that I can see that with Margot. I think because there are so many actresses right now kind of in that band of people. You've got like the Emma Stones and Margot, like that whole band of women right now in the industry. I don't know who's going to have the longevity if they go away from the industry the way Julia did.
Yeah. Well, and I think when Julia was in movies too, there weren't a lot similar to her. Yeah. And movies just in general were so different back then. You didn't have the actresses that played in movies and TV. So you were constantly inundated with them, where you do have that now. So it'll be interesting to see out of that group now who has longevity, because they're all great.
Yeah, but it's kind of like to your point with the TV versus movie. Like when I think of Julia Roberts in that time period, I also think of Jennifer Aniston, who, yes, was in some movies, but like that's not why Jennifer Aniston is famous, right? She's famous from TV.
Right.
But all of these women, like Jennifer Lawrence, Emma Stone, all these women, they're all in the same type of movies and probably going to the same auditions. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. Okay, a little Taylor talk quickly. We just had the Netherlands show. The Mahomes finally showed up, and Trav was there. We got several cute moments with Travis. Becca, can you now fully accept that the man cried? Okay? She fought this tooth and nail, y'all, and I was like, you haven't looked at the high-def pictures. It's so obvious I can see the water. What is wrong with you?
I think, well, first off, when I first started seeing everybody's like showing a clip, they were showing a clip of when Brittany goes to him. So after he's already,
he's already done crying. Then, well, he's kind of done.
Then I'm like, okay, just because he's standing there in the dark doesn't mean he cried. I did see a couple of videos where he like wipes his face. Again, could he have been tearing up? Absolutely, because we know that that's his personality.
I was just going to say he was sweating.
Listen, he could have been. He could have been. I think I get so frustrated because there are certain moments where I'm like, just let these people have a private moment. I realize he's like in the front of a VIP area, and that's not a luxury he gets. But like instantly, it's like blasted. Travis Kelce cries at Taylor Swift's concert. I'm like, my God, just give him a second, guys.
Well, and I told Becca,
personal. I'm sure he knows sometimes what mashup she's going to do, or she might mention something, and he knows the meanings behind some of those songs. So I'm sure that he did get emotional. We know that that's his personality. I think my hesitancy was like, I just want to give him that moment. Just let him have it.
Yeah. I mean, I told Becca when it happened, I was like, I am so glad that he's like a documented emotional guy, because otherwise, like, I could see that really causing some issues in a relationship, and we don't need that.
Right.
But if you don't know what this is in reference to the last night in the Netherlands, her mashup on the piano, she said she sang Mary's song, which since the moment these two started dating, everyone wanted her to play Mary's song, because she says in the song, I'll be 87, you'll be 89. Clearly those are their kind of numbers they're known for. And so people have been begging for it. And it's been like a running joke. Oh, I think she's sound checking Mary's song, whatever. Well, she finally did it. Yeah. And she matched it up with
So High School.
So High School, which is obviously the Travis song. And then Everything Has Changed. And it appears in the video. And again, I don't know. He could have started crying in the beginning. I don't know. He was filming her during So High School, but it appears that the teariness began during Everything Has Changed. And it looks like it happened in the line where she says, your eyes look like coming home.
Yeah.
Listen, I was right there with him. I mean, it was such a great mashup. She ended it with the line, you'll be, I'll be 87, you'll be 89. Also, fun fact I didn't know. Did you know Trav's grandmother's name is Mary?
I did not know that.
I didn't either, but it came out today, and I was like, well, even more so. The invisible string now is more like a rope. A very thick rope.
Not even invisible anymore. Like
bright neon light rope is what we got.
I mean, were two people not written for each other more perfectly?
It's that mashup alone was like earth shattering, but it kind of got overshadowed the guitar songs that night. She did Sweeter Than Fiction. And it was, and Holy Ground, and both were definitely for him as well. He was in a suite to her right, and our girl's normally looking straight ahead. She was about to break her neck, get turned around.
Looking. Yeah.
And I mean, her back was completely to him during the piano part, and she still was craning her neck around. I mean, she wasn't letting it go.
I'd be crying my neck too.
Yeah, listen, if I could look at that. On the first night, she did Guilty of Sin and Untouchable, and then The Archer in Question. Second night, she did I'm Gonna Get You Back in Dress, which that was really good. But then she also did for Travis, which we didn't really even know he was there at the time, You Are in Love and Cowboy Like Me. And I'll be honest, when she started in that mashup, if you haven't heard it, is fantastic. When she sang it, I thought, man, she is so giddy for him to not be there. Of course, you knew I was mad he wasn't there. Then all of a sudden she sang Karma's the Guy on the Chiefs, and I was like, wait a minute, he's not here. Yes, he was.
Listen, I appreciate that when she changed that lyric, he only uses that lyric when he is in the building. Do you know how much we appreciate that?
Very helpful, especially when he's not like that was, yeah, I appreciated that. I did have one little entertainment nugget that kind of ties to Taylor I wanted to bring up. Y'all know how I feel about Billie Eilish, which isn't great. So last week, Jack Antonoff and the Bleachers were on Good Morning America, and they performed Roller Coaster, which I love. And he, in passing, said something. He was talking about songwriting, and they were asking him about writing music with Taylor and Lana, and just all of that. And he made a comment about how, you know, music's not just randomly about like somebody's lunch. Well, Billie Eilish has a song out now called Lunch. And so everyone just instantly was like, oh, he's attacking Billie Eilish, which, I mean, okay, can we reach a little further? But literally, like, if you've listened to the song Lunch, it's not about like a sandwich kind of lunch. It's about something way. Clutch your pearls if you haven't heard it. Like, I'm just saying, like, it is not about lunch. So first of all, like, you jump to that conclusion. You've never even heard the song. That's blatant. So that was just the whole thing. Yeah. But also, like, if Jack Antonoff is going to come for somebody, he's going to come for somebody. Like, there's no filter. He comes for you. Like, y'all are stupid. Like,
He's not trying to.
Yeah. It gave Billie, though, I think Billie should say thank you, because it gave her a little bump. And for it looks like about 7 hours, she took over the Spotify most streamed female artist for about 7 hours from Taylor. That ended pretty
Jack.
Yeah. I mean, way to go, Billie. Like, whatever. I just wanted to bring that up because I've been annoyed with everyone that has been talking about it. But let's do some Y Factor.
Let's do our whys.
All right. What are you down on today?
Okay. So I just went in general politics with the presidential election coming.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just really tired of it taking any of my TV time. Listen, at this point, everyone already knows who they're going to vote for in November. So all of this back and forth with the media outlets, we could probably just stop. It's really not helping anyone. And we're not making anybody look great. No one looks great in this at the end of the day.
No, that is a good one.
People are the ones that are losing. So I just think we could probably be done with that.
We'll call it a day on that. That's a good one. I am really put out with children's programming.
Okay.
Now, listen, I don't know if everyone has this problem with their kids, but our child is much like his parents and kind of leans into a bit of the sarcasm, which can, when you're 8 years old and you don't know how to control it, can come across as disrespect.
Yeah.
And then you have these TV shows that they watch that, first of all, grate on my nerves with their voices, but then also very heavy on the disrespect tone.
Yes. Like,
y'all aren't helping. And all we're going to do as parents is not allow our child to watch it. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm just over it. I'm over children's programming. Just go ahead and plop them into a rated R movie. It's fine.
Just at this point, you might as well.
Might as well.
Oh.
What are you loving?
So what I'm loving this week is, if you guys don't have Peacock as one of your streamers, so NBC has the Olympics
Okay.
like whatever contract I guess they have it. So Peacock has so many good just little documentaries. And I had mentioned Golden last week for the one that I was loving. But even this weekend, like there's Michael Phelps has some, Noah Lyles has some. Like it is so good, all of the background information and the documentaries, and they're so well done. You can even go watch some of the older ones with athletes. And so I'm just really enjoying I'll just turn it on at night and just pick a new documentary. And they're quick watches. They're not like, they don't take forever. This weekend, I watched the one with Michael Phelps, and he literally was sitting down with like Rowdy Gaines going through all of his Olympic events that he's been in and kind of what his thought process is. Why did you do this? What were you thinking about this? So it was just, again, we like the why behind everything. And so it was interesting to get his firsthand take on that. So definitely, if you have that, go watch some of those. They're great.
I don't think I could be more excited about the Olympics. And I do think it's a little bit for your negative item or thing you're not liking. I think because the presidential stuff is really consuming a lot of my TV and it's real scary and deplorable. I think that adds to like my fever pitch excitement about the Olympics because I always love it. But like, I'm really excited.
I'm excited this year.
I mean, we only have like teens days left, right?
Yeah, less than 20.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to, all the things. And it's like that one thing, there are very few things that you can get everyone in America to rally behind. Dislike of Mykayla Skinner is one, but also cheering on for Team USA in every single event. Everybody in America is rooting for their own people. So it's fun. It gives us something, like you're saying, different to watch.
I'm pumped.
I'm excited.
I have a beauty product for my like today.
Ooh.
I know. Now, I just want to say, if you were watching us on YouTube, you cannot see the results yet that anything is working. But I got this from Jamie B. Golden, which if you don't follow her, you're sincerely missing out. But she posted an eye treatment. And I've heard Melanie Schenkel talk about this on the podcast too. Sunday Riley product line.
Okay.
Now it's a little bit, it's not the Target brand. Like it's, a little bit more money. But it's a little eye treatment. It's got some vitamin C in it. And I don't have like it's not like the darkness of night under my eyes, though I have noticed in the past year a little darkening. Gotcha. But what I love about this is it makes it feel, I think it's because it makes it feel cold, but it just makes me feel fresh and like awakened. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but I do think it's because it's a little bit colder, which makes me wonder, should I be putting it in the refrigerator?
Sometimes it'll say on the packaging to refrigerate.
Yeah. Because I think that I could probably buy the cheaper brand, like the CeraVe brand, and be totally fine if I just put it in the refrigerator. Because I do think it's just like I think the vitamin C does some kind of little twinkly thing that makes it tingle a little, but it's just the freshness. Again, it's not done a significant noticeable difference externally, but internally I feel at least a minute younger.
That's what matters.
At least a minute younger in my eyes.
I do think when you have passed the age of maybe about 30, we can't just buy all like L'Oreal products or things. Like there are a few pieces in our skincare routine that we're going to have to pay a little bit more for because we're asking it to do a lot.
Well, I tell you what's on my list. From Jamie's list, I really want to get one of those LED masks.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what's really going to happen. Probably in about a week or two, they're going to tell us it causes brain cancer. I don't know. But it's good. I just think about it. I'm like, in general, this can't be good. Because remember, they told us we were going to get cancer from having our cell phones to our ears. So now we're going to put this plastered on our face. But I got to tell you, it looks relaxing.
It does. I don't know that I've ever been steered wrong by any of Jamie's recommendations because she's very honest on what she says about them.
I tell you, and because she has what I don't have, she has the disposable income to go ahead and try everything.
Because she didn't have kids. She made some wise choices in life.
I need a Jamie Golden to go try everything and then let me know. Report back what's going to help. I feel that way about Melanie too, Schenkel, and Sophie to some extent, but Sophie doesn't go all in the way they do because like
Yeah.
Literally, when Sophie gives her 5 favorites, or no, when Melanie's reading her 5 favorite. No, wait, God, I got myself confused again. When Sophie is reading her 5 favorites, Melanie is literally purchasing every single one of them.
Yeah.
But when Melanie reads hers, Sophie will be like, "Oh, that's interesting." And she like some of them she'll buy and some of them she'll comment on, but it's not,
Yep.
I mean, it's literally every single one Melanie buys it. Just like,
Yeah. She's like purchasing now.
add to cart.
I love it.
All right. Did we miss anything?
Listen, possibly.
I mean,
There's
a chance.
Yeah.
And just for the record, we're recording this on a Monday and it's not going to come out until the following Tuesday. So if we miss some major pop culture, we might just come in on our social media with some.
That's right. Follow us on Instagram. We'll jump into stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. If y'all could follow us on Instagram at whyspace.com, spelled out, or give us a follow, or I guess perhaps if you wanted to review us on any of the listening channels. I've not been told by Retha the boss as to that needs to happen, but when she tells me, you will know.
It can't hurt.
Well, that's all, folks. Thanks, and we'll talk to you the next week.
That's right. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.